Hello, Squirrel Tribe. So listen, it is Tuesday. It is the second day of the RNC, the Republican National Convention, that is happening in Milwaukee. And today there was a shooting. There was a homeless armed veteran who was killed by Ohio police in Milwaukee near the RNC today, where two homeless men got into an altercation and were fighting and knives were involved. And 5 police officers opened fire and killed the homeless veteran who had the knife somewhere near the RNC. Because there's a massive police presence in Milwaukee right now. I think they said 24 different states, tons and tons of police officers. Yet in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 13th, there were very few people there to protect former President Donald Trump, right? You did have, weirdly, the head of the Secret Service there. What is her name? Her name is Kimberly Cheadle from Pepsi. She's a Democrat. Okay, she's friends with Joe Biden. She works at Pepsi. Now she's the head of the Secret Service. And she happened to be at the rally on Saturday. A lot of you may know all this already. There's tons of channels talking about what transpired, what has come out since then, what could be happening coming up the next few days regarding the whole issue of the attempted assassination of former president, future president Donald Trump. And one of the things people are talking about is the fact that the female presence at the rally is considered negative, right? You have a lot of people talking about how this whole DEI hire and everything else is what is causing issues. And we have here, just so you guys know, that there's an interview from about a year ago, maybe, where Kimberly Cheadle gave CBS, it was earlier this year, where she discussed increasing the number of female agents in the service to 30% as part of a diversity initiative. So when people are talking about the DEI hire of the female agents that were at the rally on Saturday, it's not just people talking out their butt. There's a lot of people on the left, we're going to call it the left and the right, a lot of people on the left who are really talking a lot of crap about the fact that people on the right are having issues with this diversity hire because it really did put Donald Trump's life in danger, right? You have this Kimberly Cheadle, the new head of Secret Service, who did not let the sniper who was on a pitched roof, side note, who was on a pitched roof, take the shot of the would-be attempted assassin. We're not going to say his name. It's like, we'll say his initials, TMC, okay? TMC, Cooks. We'll say Crooks is his last name. Crook is his last name. So he was also on a pitched roof. Now, what I read earlier today was that Kimberly Cheadle said that they did not have any shooters on that specific roof because the pitch was too much. It was too pitched. The roof was too pitched. It had too much of an incline, and she thought it would be unsafe for the Secret Service shooters to be up there, so she only had them on the other building. Well, all the pictures online, you can look at any of them. I don't have them pulled up, but all the pictures show that the roof that the Secret Service agents were on had a much higher pitch. I think it was like a 612, whereas the one that the TMC guy was on was more like a 412. And it is like widely known in roofing and in numerous other arenas or areas that anything 612 and under is considered like fully easy, like safe, like a toddler could walk it, could be up on there. So for Kimberly Cheadle to say that she didn't have any snipers up on that roof because of the pitch of it, even though that pitch was less than the one that she actually did put the snipers on, that says a lot to me. I feel like it's a cover up. I feel like there's a lot of cover up going on with what happened there. But it's an issue to me because people want to say, here's the problem. We're going to have a lot of issues for the next few months when it comes to left versus right. Whether you want to think about it or not, Democrat versus Republican right now is going to be very volatile based off of what is going on, based off of the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, based off of the lack of security at that area, and then to kind of over the top it at the RNC just to kind of, prove a point, I guess. A little crazy too. But I remember when I was younger hearing that Republicans were racist, which is, people say what they want to say. They say Republicans are racist. If you aren't racist, you have to be a Democrat. If you're for, people living their lives and whatever else, you got to be a Democrat. And I want to just show you guys something that I'm sure some of you have seen. I just want you to hear this, all right? For those of you who aren't aware, which I'm sure every single one of you is aware, Donald Trump picked J.D. Vance out of Ohio to be his vice president nominee, to run with him for the nomination of president and vice president. It's going to be Donald Trump and J.D. Vance out of Ohio. A lot of people, myself included, really wanted Byron Donalds to be the VP out of Florida, out of Southwest Florida, because I like the way he articulates. I like how he carries himself. I like how he speaks. I like the fact that he's been in kind of the financial sector, if you will, and what he's been doing for over 20 years. He has a smart head on his shoulders. He has a beautiful wife, beautiful children. He seems like a very good guy, right? And he's been doing this for a while. And what I remember from being younger is, Republicans are racist. They don't like black people. They don't like Spanish people. They don't like anybody who's not white and doesn't look like them. I'm sure we've all heard it, right? And when I play this small little clip for you, you can tell me how fully ignorant that statement is, that Republicans are racist. There's racist people all over the place, but I can tell you this Republican National Convention, full of white people and black people and Spanish people and Asian people, was anything but racist. Listen to this reception for Byron Donalds walking out on stage. Number one, I love how he walked out on stage like, yeah, what's up? And then what he has to say in the beginning. I'm just going to play a little bit of it because I want you to hear the reception. Y'all see that? Like, come on now. I like how he walks on the stage. He got a little swag to him, right? Look at that. White men clapping, white women clapping.
Good evening, Milwaukee.
Look, I love this next part.
Milwaukee, we're on live television. You gotta let me get to the speech now.
Listen, I love Byron Donalds. I think he is great. His speech that he gave at the RNC, he talked about the fact that he grew up in Brooklyn, New York to a single mother, okay? I also grew up with a single mother. And he talked about how his single mother did not like the fact that the public school system was not doing well for him. It was not working well. So in first grade, she pulled him out of public school and did everything she could to put him in private school. She was a teacher herself. Then she lost her job, right, when he was in 7th grade. And so his grandmother stepped in to help pay for him to continue on in private school because an education is extremely, extremely important. And under this Democratic reign that we've had, we can see that education has literally gone down the toilet in public schools. My daughter is in a public school. I would pull her out and put her in a private school if I could, but it's not really feasible. I would homeschool her if I could, but it's also not feasible. And she doesn't want to because she wants to be around other children. As an only child, she wants to be in the school system around other kids, and I understand that. Now, we pay attention to her grades all the time, but we are in Florida where the public school system is definitely a little bit better than in other states. No offense to other states, but under the Democratic rule in a lot of states, the school systems are floundering. The kids don't really have to know anything. They just get passed to the next grade because they want their numbers to look good for the counties, for the states and everything else, right? And Byron Donalds is talking about how, he knows that Donald Trump is going to come back in and fix the school system. He's going to take it back to what it should be, where kids are learning things that are of importance. He also talked about at the RNC about how Joe Biden came in and talked about how he was going to make everything better, money-wise, and America is going to be great with money. And here we are, where going to the grocery store it's painful. It is so painful for a lot of people because everything costs so much. Trying to pay your rent or your mortgage, painful. Trying to get gas, painful. Trying to pay for your insurance, painful. You guys see what is the word? Y'all, my brain is fried. I spent too much time in the sun today. the system is flawed, if you will, when it comes to, there's a theme. Haha, there we go. The theme here is that it is painful. Everything money related is painful lately. And the hope is that Donald Trump coming back in, bringing the Republicans back into the main office, if you will, there will be a switch. Things will be fixed. We will put the safety of Americans, number one, back into place. We will put the money back into the pockets of Americans. That's what Byron Donald wants. That's what Donald Trump wants. And I am hoping that no matter what side of the fence you're on, you're stepping back and looking at the way our economy is really going and thinking to yourself, what's going to make it better? I feel like with everything that's been going on lately, the next couple months are going to be dicey, which is like the nicest way to put it. I feel like it's going to be dicey. I feel like even in 2020, you guys remember, leading up to 2020, it was such a battle between left and right, between Biden and Trump, between, if you like this person, then we can't be friends anymore. If you're voting this way, we can't be friends anymore. Oh, you're voting for Trump? Well, you got to be racist. Oh, you're voting for Biden? Well, you got to be, left-leaning and ignorant. Like, those were the things that were being said, and it feels like we're in the twilight zone again, which we've talked about before. 2024 is such a repeat of 2020, yet things are totally different now. Biden in 2020 could have coherent sentences. I watched him with Lester Holt last night, y'all. It interrupted the RNC, right, at about 8 p.m., I believe, Central Time, where I am. It left the RNC and went to the interview with Biden and Lester Holt. And if the debate wasn't enough, and I know it sounds awful for people out there who are on more left-leaning or Democratic or Democrats, I know it sounds awful to say, but if you watched the debate, all right, the very first debate between Trump and Biden, you watched that debate and you walked away going, oh no, he sounds great. There's already a small issue there. But if you watched the interview with Lester Holt last night and still walked away going, can't wait to vote for this man, it's going to be a great 4 years, we have to talk about delusions, because that interview, Lester Holt did nothing wrong. He asked questions, and it seemed like Biden, again, was kind of agitated. He stumbled over his words. It was hard to understand him at certain points in time. He admitted that he said bullseye on Trump. He's like, I didn't say crosshairs, I said bullseye. Well, Lester Holt never said crosshairs either. That's also a problem. He's hearing things that aren't being said. He's repeating things numerous times. He's losing track of what he's saying. He's losing the thread of the topic. And it's a big deal, because he's talking to Lester Holt now, but next time he could be talking to, Putin. He could be talking to Kim Jong-un. I can never say the guy's name. He could be talking to anybody. And that kind of mix-up could be horrible. Forgetting what you're saying, forgetting what was talked about, forgetting what you were asked, it could go over very, very wrong, all right? And I feel like that needs to be remembered. Now, Donald Trump, on the other hand, he can debate. He can go through and have coherent sentences, cohesive thoughts, and everything else. What saved Donald Trump's life, which is totally off topic, but what saved his life in all actuality on Saturday at the rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, when that attempted assassination, what saved his life was the fact that he did not need teleprompters. If he had been with a teleprompter, he would have been in one spot, staring straight ahead, the way Biden does. There would have been no movement. It would have been very easy to line up and take a shot and take him out. But because he doesn't need a teleprompter, but because he has the knowledge, he has the thoughts, and he has the cohesiveness to just have a conversation, he didn't need it, and he could move around and whatever else. And that movement is what saved his life. If he had not been moving, that bullet would have taken him out. It would have been over, and you would have had a new Republican candidate, being put on the ballot at the RNC. But because he can, again, have conversations and talk about the state of the country, the state of the world, what he wants the country to be, what he wants to do for the country, it worked out for him. Biden cannot do that. And that is a problem when you're thinking about the next 4 years. It's not just November 5th at the polls. It's the next 4 years. And I feel like that needs to be really seriously talked about. You got to step back and close down and inner thoughts and think it through. And really, people are afraid to vote outside of their party, whatever they've always been. But would you be more afraid to vote outside of your party, or more afraid to vote for the person that is slowly tearing America down? I'm not saying you have to vote for Trump. There's independents out there. There's other people to vote for. But I am saying Biden is not going to be the best bet, my personal opinion, right? I just want to bring this all to your attention. I'm sure you guys have all thought about it, heard about it, seen it, everything that's going on. It's going to continue. There's 2 more days of the RNC, and then we have the DNC coming up, August. I said 9th through 11th last time, and that was incorrect, and I don't remember exactly what days it is now. We have that one coming up next. And there's going to be a lot of issues between now and then, and all the way up till November 5th, obviously. And then, hell, after November 5th, we could still have a lot of issues. But I think we all have got to pay attention to what is being said, take emotion out of how you feel about the person themselves, and focus on the plans and on who wants to do who has done what previously, who can hold the conversations, who, you know what I mean? Like, we have to sit here and think about all of those things, because also, if something were to happen to Biden, now you have Kamala Harris as your president of the United States. Is that what you want? If something happens to Trump, then you have JD Vance as your president of the United States. Is that what you want? These are all things we have to think about, not just Trump bad, Trump good, Biden good. You have to think about everything that makes up the whole kit and caboodle, if you will. So that's that. Anyway. There's a lot more, but that's what I have for now. I just wanted to have this conversation. So thank you, Squirrel Tribe. I love you guys immensely, and I'll see you later. Bye.